Hey, what's going on, guys? Double 18 Seth Shadow here. So let's go ahead and get into today's market watch. We have a number of items to cover this time around. We're going to start with King Elephant from set 4, which is one of our new big cards for Forest Craft and one of the defining boss units of the new Elephant combo deck that has come about with set 4. This card is a gold, so not too expensive to pick up despite the intended popularity of the deck. And we're looking at, if you look at the base form versus the Evo, we're still following the same trend of Evo cards in the gold range being more expensive than their base forms. That hasn't changed. Although, more often than not, players will probably only end up playing one copy of this, two if you're really feeling daring about it. And the card itself is a $1.15 base with $1.55 as the market price. Available for $182 and $237 when you consider shipping for the first few listings. When it comes to the base form, that one's closer to $1 for all of its listings, and it's currently at a market price of 78 cents, so that falls in line with what we'd expect. Felice finally got bought for its legendary promo. Looks like $43 is now the market price. We have only 3 listings available, with 1 copy at $45 and then $70 and $90, which I believe have been sitting there for some time. Ultimately, it's still interesting to see. We've gone through 1 month of this promo, so I think that still kind of aligns with just how Aria was dropping off. Although we just don't see as many listings as we did with Aria, which is interesting to see. In any case, also, just remember that Felice has a gold from set 3, so if you don't want to pay into the legendary, it's 38 cents base, right? Well, 30 cents base, 38 cents is the market price and the lowest among the shipping plus listings. And then if you want the foil version, that's currently $3 with not as many quantities. Market price is $2.91 on that one. The problem is, between this foil versus the alternate art legendary, that will probably make it hard for that foil to really see any big value going into that. Then we've got Execution, which is all the way back from set 1. And of course we've got the promo which you earned as a prize for winning your shop tournaments in the last season. But this card has been on the decline and now has listings closer to $3, which is around its market price. The lowest listing is $1.63, although that is also, well, it is among the lowest listings there, although it's a mandatory shipping tag. And then when it comes to the promo, we've got $6.25 as the base. Market price is $6.51, and the base few listings, we got a lot of quantities there. Overall, you can see 14, and they range from 6 to just over 7. And on top of that, we've also got Crazed Executioner. I wanted to take a look at this one and see where it's at. But if we look at it more from a holistic perspective, Crazed Executioner is still easy to pick up if this thing wants to not blur. Okay, I don't know why it's blurring. But Crazed Executioner is currently available under 50 cents for both the Evo and the regular. And then when it... Okay, come on. There we go. And then when it comes to the foils, those are closer to $1. The market price on the base forms foil is getting up to $2. It's $1.75. Although, let's see if it's actually been moving very much. No. It dropped off back in March, and it still does sell for as high as $3. But most of the listings sell for about $1.50 when it comes to the base form. Wizardess of Oz is the next one to cover, where aside from the Millie Parfait collaboration, which we won't be talking about today, this card does have its own ultimate rare as well as super legendary, where the ultimate is currently a range of 30 to 40 for the base few listings, not too many quantities. The market price is $35.84, and if you want the regular legendary, not too many quantities on the low end, but it has 28 listings and a market price of $1.40, which is a little higher than all these base listings that you see. And then when it comes to the super legendary, market price is $9.02, but the lowest listings here are $4 to $5.50. and then we'll move up from there. But ultimately, Dirt Rune just does not have the same popularity as most other decks, so it is more budget to build, outside of the fact that people still play Merlin in it. Crystalia Tia is up in value. I believe we covered that in a prior watch, but let's go for it again, especially given the popularity of Forest right now. The number of listings has dropped off. Now we've only got 4 listings on the regular legendary and 2 listings on the super legendary. But of course, the increase in price is only on the base form. When it comes to the Evo, that one is not really seeing that much traction in increase of movement. We're still at 99 cents for the market price of the base legendary on the Evo. And when it comes to the SL and the Ultimate, those have not changed much either. They're $3.15 and $41.59, which I would anticipate there's still going to be a drop-off on these at some point. When it'll happen will depend, because I believe Tia still gets played a little after set 4. A little history on where we've been seeing the listings go. We are seeing the base legendary of Tia's base form $15 to $20, and the 4 listings range, they're all basically at $20, except for this last one, which is apparently a massive buyout. 35 copies, and they're $20 each. Israfil is the next one, where this one is still holding above $20 right now, and its market price is $19.82. The last several listings that sold were 21, almost to 25 as well. And when it comes to the available listings, most of them are $25. Only 2 of them are, one of them, when you consider shipping, is underneath that. Sybil of the Waterworm is at $3.60 for its market price. This is a legendary that can be used well with Prime Dragon Keeper, but in general for Dragoncraft as well, if you want to go for building more play points late game, and it's good for healing. But the card has 20 listings versus its super legendary, which has 9 listings starting at $21.75 and a market price of almost $24. Don't forget that this card also has a collaboration with Colin Kozuki from Code Geass, which can also be contributing to the decrease in price that you see here, as those who are into Code Geass will likely want to pick up the alternate art instead. As for more details on the super legendary for this card, it has been selling recently for 22-ish to 25, and when it comes to the listings, nothing is that much farther away from 25, so that's kind of just where it's holding at this point. Then we've got Howling Demon, which this one has not moved too far up. We're looking at a lot of listings for the base rarity legendary for the base form and the Evo. $6.55 and $6.78 for the base price and market price on the regular form. The Evo is really cheap to pick up at $2.69 market price and then lower for its base at $1.97. And the super legendaries are not too bad. $9 and then $9.15 is the market price. And then we look at the super legendary at $6.40 for its base and $7.56 for its market price there. I did cover Aggro Abyss as a potential deck candidate for this format when I was talking about deck prices. So I'd still keep your eye on this one, especially if we continue to see more presence of aggro. Bellringer Angel is going back down in value right now for the base gold. We can see we have a listing as low as $14.50 with a market price of $15.76. The latest sells have all been under $15, and then we do have a fair number of copies that are still there under $15 before it becomes $16 to $17 overall when it comes to the next several copies. But it's got 34 listings overall, so not looking like it can just go anywhere. I guess players are also looking to unload, so they might be trying to sell. I mean, Bellringer is continuously used in multiple formats, but again, as more options, more specific to the crafts, become available, less players are wanting to use Bellringer at this point, I guess. Princess Snow White has been going up in value, especially with Egghaven being a big contender for competitive play. The Super Legendary has been bought out to the point of $35, while the regular Legendary, looking at its price history, 5 listings overall, and a market price of $9.31 right now, but that market price is much lower than the latest few sells as well as what's available. Currently, the card can be found for $20 to just over $20, and in terms of actual sells recently, we're looking at $11 to $20 for its sells. So yeah, this card has finally seen a pretty significant buyout and is likely to stay up there for some time. Merlin's Evo. Normally I just talk about Merlin's regular form and the details on that, but I do want to cover the Evo today. The market price on this has been rising, and it's now $7.62, up from about $4 over the last few months. It's been holding closer to $5, and now it just went right up there with the last few days, actually. Latest few listings have been selling for over $10, and in terms of available listings, we do have a number of them that are still under 10, but Merlin is... it's a staple when it comes to runecraft, so now you have to start paying attention to some of these Evos, which have pretty much always been cheaper than their base forms when it comes to the legendaries. There have been some exceptions, but you got to pay attention to some of the popular legendaries and see where their Evos are going, like Agnes Tachyon did. Soul Conversion is the next card, where this has been the most popular rare in set 1, outside of Execution up until late. But this card has only 8 listings left on the original, and 1 listing left on the promo that came out, the foil promo. $15 is the only listing there, but a market price of $5.55. And when it comes to the price history of the original from set 1, it's a $1.53 market price. It's bouncing back up there and has been selling for $1.50 pretty consistently, but in terms of available quantities, we've got a fair amount until they get up to $3.50 and beyond. So just be careful. Abyss will likely continue to see this card get played often, as it is basically a pot of greed for Abysscraft. Although you do have to sacrifice something, so not really. Aimling Wraith is going to be our last card for today. This is for Sanguine and Aggro Bloodcraft. It's a bronze and is very cheap to pick up. 36 listings are available, for a market price of 14 cents and a base listing of 11. And then, of course, we've got the foil promo that also came out of the recent tournament pack, which is 580 base and a market price of 871. And if we take a look at the history of that foil, someone did buy 6 copies for $860 a piece of about a week ago. And otherwise, we have, effectively the card is still $8 to $9, but there are a lot more quantities on the market than there were before. Now that this promo pack has been in circulation for a while, prices have overall been dropping for most of the cards. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.